What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. Harris Rubenstein here for the Cam Rogers Show. I am not Cam Rogers, though that is the third time you've heard this week while Cam is on an extended vacation in the Northeast, chilling on a beach somewhere. Let's go over what we're going to be talking about today. Lots of NBA rumors to go through. Kyrie Irving versus LeBron James. Marcus Smart versus the Celtics. We have clashes and drama all over the association, and we'll be going over all of them this morning. Got some Lakers rumors for you, some LeBron rumors to end the show, but our big segment today, we have some NBA title matchup odds, so we'll be going through who could face off in the NBA Finals this year and how likely those matchups are. But before we get into all of that, today is the official day where all contracts that have been signed/agreed to become official. So let's go through the top deals signed so far in free agency. We'll go from top to bottom in terms of money value. Got Chris Paul, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Paul George, and Aaron Gordon. Look at Aaron Gordon getting a top 5 contract in free agency. Moving on, we got Kevin Durant, Will Barton, Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Jordan, and I can't believe he's actually on the second slide of this list, but yes, that is Dougie McBuckets getting $22 million over 3 years. I can't believe someone gave him $22 million. He's not had a good NBA career. On our next page here, we got Ersan Ilyasova, Julius Randle, Fred VanVleet, Joe Harris, and Trevor Ariza getting that huge 1-year, $15 million contract. Great deal for him and the Suns, though I do wonder how much impact he's really going to have on such a young team, at least from an on-the-court perspective. Getting into some 1-year deals now. Got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 1 year, $12 million. Bellinelli, 2 years, $12 million. Aaron Baines, 2 years, $11 million. And then Rudy Gay and Rajon Rondo getting 1 year, $10 million and 1 year, $9 million, respectively. Got Clint Robinson III somehow getting $8.5 million from the Detroit Pistons. Mario Zanya's headed to the Big Apple on a 1 year, $6.5 million deal. Not even going to talk about DeMarcus Cousins because I'm just going to get angry again. And we do have Lance Stevenson as well, getting $4.5 million from the Lakers. We had Nemanja Bjelica getting his contract from the Sixers yesterday on the mid-level exception. Another notable name on that list, Stauskas, getting $1.6 million from the Portland Trailblazers. It's a very interesting contract. And then finally, some contracts that we still do not have the money deals towards. We have Mike Scott, Omri Caspi, JaVale McGee, and Jeff Green. Those are all the deals that have been signed so far in free agency. Those deals become official today at 12:01 p.m. Yes, p.m., so noontime, because the NBA is weird, and I'm not sure why that isn't just the end of the day. I'm not sure why it is noon at all. But you can follow me on Twitter at SportsTeam, and also go ahead and give us a subscription as well here on YouTube. We officially crossed the 50,000 subscriber mark here on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who's been showing us such great support here on, all of the streaming sites that we have here on Chat Sports, and also thank you to all of our consistent viewers on Facebook as well. All right, everyone, let's get into the top free agency rumors currently going on in the NBA, and boy, oh boy, did we get a breaking news story last night from multiple different Cleveland Cavs reporters that Kyrie Irving and LeBron James clashed heavily when LeBron came back in 2014, including the fact that Kyrie Irving never wanted LeBron to come back in the first place, saying, quote, "We don't need that guy." LeBron had made a joke to Kyrie saying, "Hey, you never know, maybe I'll come back." And apparently Kyrie Irving did not take too fondly to that one. So let's break down everything that came out of that report around Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. One, Kyrie and Tyronn Lue clashed heavily. Tyronn Lue said he could never get through to Kyrie, and the two never really got along, and that Kyrie, quote-unquote, tuned him out. The media also made a huge deal out of LeBron wearing the "I Can't Breathe" shirt. Remember that? Well, Kyrie Irving was pissed because apparently he did it first, and it bothered him that everyone focused just on LeBron. LeBron apparently also agreed with one of the reporters, Jason Lloyd, that his relationship with Kyrie Irving had become quite poor and deteriorated over the years. LeBron did agree with that. There was also a report that Kyrie and his camp considered leaving the Cavs after they won the championship, but decided otherwise because they had one more really nice year. And then one of the big reasons why Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland last year was because he felt the team was built to support LeBron's strengths, and if LeBron left, Kyrie would be the only one left of those parts that benefited LeBron's game. So a lot of stuff to break down here, but the one that really sticks out to me is the fact that Kyrie did not want LeBron James to come back. And I think what we've seen since then, and what Kyrie Irving really wants out of all this, I don't think he wants wins anymore. I don't think he wants just, championships and what. I'm sure he wants those things. It's clear that Kyrie Irving wants some sort of credit. Kyrie Irving wants people to look at him and say, this happened because of Kyrie Irving. And I think that's what he's waiting to see before he signs his contract with the Celtics. He is simply waiting to see if he is going to get credit for this team or if it's going to go to Brad Stevens. And if it doesn't go to Kyrie Irving, he's going to go to the Knicks and wait for the credit that he feels that he really does deserve. So a lot to kind of consume here with Kyrie and LeBron clashing when he came back in 2014. And I want to know from you guys, was LeBron returning to Cleveland in 2014 the right move? Now, you can break this down from a multitude of angles. Was it the right move for Kyrie? Was it the right move for LeBron? Was it good for the Cavs? I think overall was a great move for LeBron and a great move for the Cavs, but maybe the worst thing that could have happened for Kyrie Irving. It really did, I think, stun his development a little bit as an overall playmaker and as a leader, but I think we saw last year with the Celtics that he really does have that inside of him and it can be brought out in the right situation. All right, let's get to our next breaking news rumor that came out last night. Marcus Smart versus the Celtics. Apparently, the Celtics have not even spoken to Marcus Smart since the start of free agency. They did offer him a qualifying offer, which made him a restricted free agent. But since then, no contract talks at all. Seems kind of strange, doesn't it? Seeing as the Celtics team has been one of the better free agency teams in all of basketball over the past couple of years. This conflicts heavily with a report that we had last week. We had a Celtics rumor video come out this past week, and we talked about how talks between the Celtics and Marcus Smart have been apparently going quite well, and then all of a sudden yesterday we get that Marcus Smart is quote-unquote upset and disgusted. So I don't really know how to play this because, again, this is very un-Danny Ainge-like of a report to come out that he hasn't even talked about or talked to Marcus Smart about a contract. Now, we do also have Marcus Smart's high school coach. He also made a quote in saying that sources can be funky things. So maybe this is all coming from a specific side of Marcus Smart's camp that isn't, him or his agent. But we do know as of right now, Marcus Smart is still handing out Celtics jerseys. He was doing a charity event the other day and signed a couple Celtics jerseys to hand out to the kiddos. So we'll see what happens with Marcus Smart and the Celtics. I would still expect the contract to get done, but hey, upset and disgusted is never something that you want to hear when you're talking about a contract negotiation. All right, let's get to our next rumor here. Anthony Davis apparently did not want DeMarcus Cousins to come back. This coming from Andrew Doak, a New Orleans sports anchor from WWL-TV, saying that Anthony Davis helped the Pelicans get rid of Cousins. This coming from a team source as well that said that Anthony Davis could have convinced the Pelicans GM if he wanted Cousins back to get him on a bigger contract. Davis reportedly liked how the Pelicans played without Cousins and also the locker room environment without him, which this lines up heavily with everything we know about about DeMarcus Cousins, that he is not a great guy in the locker room and that all he does is really cause problems. Another reason why I think that DeMarcus Cousins going to the Warriors can end up being a complete disaster for DeMarcus Cousins' career if things go poorly, but we won't talk about that. We'll just talk about Anthony Davis. It also needs to be pointed out that Anthony Davis was the lead recruiter that brought in Julius Randle on this new contract that he just got brought in on. So a lot to break down. Anthony Davis not liking DeMarcus Cousins, definitely something to keep track of as the season goes on. Remember, use that super chat if you want your questions answered live on air. We will bring them up. You'll get a name drop. I will answer your question personally. You can also follow me on Twitter @SportsDean. I'm trying to collect enough questions to do a mailbag over the next couple of weeks, so definitely get those questions in and shoot me them on Twitter. All right, let's get to our next one here. Luka Doncic will be in Las Vegas despite some weird contract issues currently going on between him and Real Madrid and the Dallas Mavericks. So Rick Carlisle, the head coach of the Mavericks, said that Doncic will be in Vegas and that the team is close to working things out with him. He also said that Doncic hasn't practiced yet because of those contract issues, though we have seen some videos of Doncic just shooting around in a gym with the Mavs. No official practices yet, but Doncic needs a clearance letter from FIBA. He then needs to take a physical, and then he needs to sign his contract. So this is just straight international basketball contract problems. There's no issue between Doncic and the Mavericks. There's no issue between the NBA and FIBA. This is simply how long these things sometimes take, because international basketball contracts can get a little bit tricky when you're coming over to the NBA, especially with a guy so young as Luka Doncic. Let's get into our next rumor here. The Pelicans are apparently interested in Dennis Schroeder. Fletcher Mackel from NBC Sports reported that the Pelicans have discussed acquiring Dennis Schroeder in a trade. Now, the Pelicans, as do most teams around the NBA, they do like his talent, but everyone's a little bit worried about his legal issues. He's currently dealing with a felony assault charge in court. So a lot of stuff still up in the air with Dennis Schroeder. I think he is a talented player, but I wonder what he's going to be like on a team that doesn't require him to be the lead scorer. I'm not crazy about Dennis Schroeder's game. I've never really been over the moon about, his style of play, how he interacts with teammates on the court, his impact on a locker room. He's never really been a favorite of mine. I think he's better off being on a bad team and being a big stat guy rather than being a legitimate, impactful player on a playoff team. Someone put in the comment section that, quote, they already have Drew Holiday. Why would you acquire Dennis Schroeder? Well, as of right now, Drew Holiday has been used mostly as a two-guard rather than a ball-first kind of, distributor point guard on the Pelicans. They did bring in Elfrid Payton, but besides that, the Pelicans don't exactly have a true point guard right now. So maybe Dennis Schroeder could be a fit, but I'm not too crazy overall about what he'd bring to the Pelicans. All right, let's get to our next rumor. Kyrie Irving, does he want to win? Well, according to Colin Cowherd, no, he does not. Colin Cowherd says that Kyrie is showing the world with these Knicks rumors that winning isn't his top priority, because apparently he doesn't plan on staying with the Celtics after this season, which I think is kind of a load of baloney right now. Kyrie Irving made it very clear that the reason he hasn't signed a new deal with the Celtics was specifically because of financial reasons. It just doesn't make sense for Kyrie Irving to sign an extension with the Celtics this season when he can literally get an entire another year and over $40 million more next offseason if he simply waits a year and signs a deal next offseason. So I don't really believe in that, though. I will say this, if you're Kyrie Irving, you were just on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who one of the worst run organizations in basketball, and I'm very serious about that. You go to the Celtics, one of the best run organizations in all of basketball. Now you want to jump to the Knicks, arguably the worst run organization in basketball? I don't really understand where Kyrie's priorities land if he does in fact want to go to the Knicks. If I'm Kyrie Irving and I can get a full max extension from the Celtics, I hit the jackpot, baby. I'm with one of the best coaches in the NBA on my team. I am the face of this team. I have a great young core, a fat contract, and my dad was a Celtics fan and played basketball at Boston College. I think that Kyrie Irving has hit the jackpot here. I still expect him to be with the Celtics long term. We want to thank Autolist for sponsoring the Cam Rogers Show today. Are you looking for a new or used car? Are you tired of browsing a million sites? Go to Autolist.com to browse the largest source of inventory on the web, or download their top-rated mobile app for iPhone or Android. I am certainly using Autolist when I pick up my car in the next couple of weeks, and you should too. The easiest way to car shop anywhere on the internet. All right, let's get to our next one. Apparently, Dave Fizdale, the new coach of the New York Knicks, wants to try Kristaps Porzingis at the small forward position. And you guys have got to see this lineup that we put together for you guys with the Knicks and Kristaps Porzingis. It is absolutely wild. They want to put Kristaps Porzingis at the 3, Luke Cornett at the 4, Mitchell Robinson at the 5, Kevin Knox at the 2, and then Trey Burke leading the way. Look at that lineup. There's so much length. I love it. I can't believe it. This is the wingspan of all the guys that would be on this team, because it is absolutely wild. So Kevin Knox wingspan, 6'11.5". Kristaps, 7'6". Luke Cornett, 7'2". Mitchell Robinson, 7'4". This is the all wingspan team, baby. This is such a fun lineup, though I can't exactly see it being overly successful. Just not a lot of shooting on that lineup outside of Kevin Knox and Kristaps, but it will be certainly fun to see all the different combinations that David Fizdale brings to the table this season. I'm really excited for him and the Knicks. I think they have a really, really fun season ahead of them. But I don't know from you guys, will that fun season end up being a playoff appearance for the New York Knicks? I think if they do, we could maybe see them in the, maybe it's an 8 seed or a 7 seed, but I don't really see them getting much higher than that. I don't think the back end of the roster has enough talent. Maybe you also have Frankie Smokes starting at point guard. Doesn't really matter. It'll be one of, either Frankie Smokes or Trey Burke. Maybe they'll put Emmanuel Mudiay out there. Who knows? We don't really know who the Knicks starting point guard will be at this time. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Will the Knicks make the playoffs this season? All right, Dwight Howard apparently wants to fix his reputation and hopes that the Wizards are the best case scenario for him to do that. But come on, people. Let's all be honest with ourselves. Let's take a step back and let's actually remember who we're talking about here. We are talking about Dwight Howard and that he wants to change how he is perceived. Well, Dwight, if you want to change how you are perceived, maybe you shouldn't have spent the last decade gaining the reputation of being a huge and total brat. And unfortunately, going to the Washington Wizards, one of the worst locker rooms in all of basketball already, I can't really see Dwight Howard being the one to fix the Wizards locker room. They couldn't even get along with Marcin Gortat, and now the Wizards are all of a sudden going to get along with Dwight Howard. John Wall is going to have a fist fight with Dwight Howard by the end of the season if everything goes down the way it has the past couple years between those two guys and their attitudes towards basketball. Look, I am not a believer in Dwight Howard. I haven't been a believer in Dwight Howard since he left the Lakers, and I will remain a non-believer in Dwight Howard. I know he had a good season last year. That's great. Good for him. I'm glad he can finally shoot an elbow jumper. But I never, in the history of basketball, have ever wanted Dwight Howard on my basketball team. There are 10 guys who are less talented but are less of a problem. No Dwight Howard for me. Good luck in Washington, but we all already know how that's going to turn out, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, let's get to our next rumor. Apparently the Cavs want to trade Kyle Korver and George Hill. Very unsurprising. Not surprising at all. If I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'd also want to trade away George Hill and Kyle Korver. George Hill is owed $19 million next season. Kyle Korver, obviously not as much, but you got to get rid of that George Hill contract just to let Colin Sexton have free reign as the starting point guard of this team without a veteran looking and nipping at his heels trying to get a trade at the deadline. I'd move him right now. You got to get rid of George Hill. $20 million on this team is not something that you can really, just take right now. I mean, the Cavs are in such cap hell in general that $20 million George Hill has to go out the window. We know that the Cavs are trying to rebuild, so don't be surprised this offseason if you see a George Hill, a Kyle Korver, and a Kevin Love trade. They got to blow it up and get some future assets, because if you look at the Cavs picks over the next couple of years, it's not great. They don't have a ton of future assets. So I think the Cavs will definitely make a move in the next couple of weeks. All right, now for the craziest story of the entire week. And this is free agency week, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently Kawhi Leonard's camp hid, H-I-D, hid Kawhi Leonard from the Spurs medical staff when he was rehabbing in New York. Hid him. Like, he was in a gym working out. The Spurs walked into the room, and the Kawhi Leonard's group rushed him out of the gym, ran him out of there, so the Spurs literally could not physically see Kawhi Leonard. This is one of the weirdest stories I have ever heard. This is one of the weirdest sagas that has ever taken over the NBA. Not only will he not speak to the Spurs anymore, not only is the relationship completely fractured, they weren't even allowed to see him when he went to New York City. And do what's even crazier, in August of last season, Kawhi Leonard did one of the international trips for the NBA. Usually during those trips, the team will send some security with the star player, maybe some PR people, some marketing people. The Spurs were allowed to send nobody with Kawhi Leonard when he went on an international trip with the NBA. This is an absolutely outrageous story. I can't even believe this. Kawhi Leonard's camp, I understand that maybe you aren't crazy about the Spurs and Greg Popovich. I don't care. This is absolutely outrageous. How can any camp of any NBA star player act this way? I can't believe it. Like, I physically cannot contain, this is so over the top ridiculous. Why the Spurs? What pissed off Kawhi Leonard's camp so much that they hate the Spurs so much? This apparently started last year before the season. What did the Spurs do? I don't understand why there is so much hatred from the Kawhi camp towards the Spurs. I understand that maybe the management of his injury wasn't the best, but there is no excuse for acting this way. No excuse. And I'm sorry, I understand that his camp cares. I completely blame Kawhi Leonard's uncle for this entire situation. I think that since he's gotten involved in a deep kind of fashion, everything has gone to crap. Everything. His relationship with his Spurs, his public reputation, just how people perceive Kawhi Leonard in general. It has all gone completely out the window since his uncle has gotten seriously involved. And look, man, I'm not out here trying to criticize family members for having an impact on people's lives. You guys already know how I feel about LeVar Ball and his fathering issues. But this is something else. This is a completely different situation, and I cannot believe that this situation has gone so off the rails that they won't even let him see him when he went to New York. I can't believe it. Let's move on before I get angrier. Let's talk about the new NBA format that has been discussed around a couple years with the NBA playoffs. So Adam Silver's apparently discussed a couple ideas about the new playoff format that maybe we actually go with the 1 to 16 best teams in the NBA rather than the Eastern and Western Conference kind of playoff scenario like the WNBA does. But I got to be honest, people, I hate this idea. I really don't like the 1 to 16 kind of, freaky, East-West combined playoff matchups things. I don't like it. I like the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference playoff matchups being separate because I like the rivalries that it makes. I like the Celtics and the Wizards over the past 3 years randomly becoming rivalries because they've played each other so often. I like having the Warriors take on the Rockets in the Western Conference Finals. I like these things. These things are fun. These things are good for basketball, not only just for the sake of the game, but also for the sake of the players. I understand that maybe the travel isn't like people don't really care, but let's say we keep 2-2-1-1-1. Imagine if the Portland Trailblazers faced off against the Boston Celtics. Now you play 2 games in Portland, then you play 2 games in Boston, then it's 1 more game in Portland, then 1 more game in Boston, then 1 more game in Portland. It's way too much. It's way, way, way too much. I don't like it. So this is what the seeding would have looked like last year had they had the new playoff format. So the Rockets would have had the 1 seed, the Raptors would have had the 2 seed, the Warriors at the 3, and the Celtics at the 4, which just the top 4 seeds in general is super weird. I mean, why would this is where the problem starts to come is that in a playoff seeding fashion, we now have the Raptors ahead of the Warriors because of base record. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The top 4 seeds in this is maybe the weirdest thing. But even when you look at 5, 6, 7, and 8, it gets even weirder. I mean, after 5, 6, 7, 8, it's the Sixers, the Cavs, the Blazers, and the Thunder. The Jazz, the Pacers, the Pelicans, and the Spurs. Like, these seedings are so funky because it's 1 to 16. This is what the matchups would be if they actually went through with this. It would have been the Rockets versus the Bucks, the Raptors versus the Heat, the Warriors versus the Nuggets, the Celtics versus the T-Wolves, the Sixers versus the Spurs, the Cavs versus the Pelicans, the Trailblazers versus the Pacers, and the Thunder versus the Jazz. Where's the appeal? Like, why is that so much better than what it already is? I don't understand. Do people really want to see the Bucks versus the Rockets? I don't really get what the change would do except cause more travel problems. I don't like the new playoff format. I hope they keep it this way that it is. East versus West, baby. It's so much better that way. You are watching the Cam Rogers Show. I am not Cam Rogers. I am Harris Rubenstein. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsDean. I'm taking over for Cam this week as well as on Monday as he enjoys a nice little beach vacation with his family in the Northeast. We just took you through the top rumors around free agency and some trade talk. Let's get into the Lakers. And we start with the fact that LeBron James and Luke Walton haven't even spoken yet, which is wild to me that LeBron is going to go to a new team and not talk to the new coach. This is coming from Yahoo Sports. LeBron has never met Luke at all. They still haven't met, and they still haven't spoken since LeBron signed his contract with the Lakers. We know one thing about Luke Walton. We know that, well, a couple things about Luke Walton, I should say. A, Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka did not hire him. He is not their guy at all. But he is Jeannie Buss's guy, and that is very important. I don't think that LeBron is going to get in the way of Luke Walton in this entire kind of scenario and situation that the Lakers are trying to build with Luke Walton and his young players. LeBron has made it very clear that he's trying to be a little bit more hands-off with this entire situation rather than being over the top. So I wouldn't be too concerned about LeBron coming in with Luke Walton, but for now it is a little bit strange that the two haven't met and spoken to each other. Just a wee bit strange, though I don't see this ending up being a problem as we go forward. All right, let's get into the rumor that you all want to hear about the Los Angeles Lakers. Is Damian Lillard a real target for the Los Angeles Lakers? Well, I'm going to kind of leave that one up to you guys. Now, Stephen A. Smith mentioned a possible trade on his radio show, and this also confirms something that we said on Wednesday, that the Lakers really liked Damian Lillard. But personally, this kind of sounds like the Spurs are leaking some fake news stories to attract other suitors for Kawhi Leonard. Why would the Lakers all of a sudden want Damian Lillard? It's just a very strange turn from Kawhi Leonard, really good two-way player, to scoring first point guard. Does Damian Lillard really mix with LeBron James from a basketball standpoint? I mean, I understand that Damian Lillard and Kyrie Irving are pretty similar players, but Damian Lillard has been a ball-dominant point guard since the day he stepped onto the Trailblazers court. I mean, he's been the guy, and I wonder if he'll be okay not being the guy anymore after spending such a long time being the leader of the Trailblazers. But this would be my prospective trade for Damian Lillard. Don't kill me. I have no idea what Damian Lillard's trade value is on the open market right now. So I'm giving the Portland Trailblazers a nice package. I'm giving them Lonzo Ball, I'm giving them Brandon Ingram, and 2 first-round picks, and that Luol Deng contract. I know people are like, oh, why would the Trailblazers take that? They have to if they want this trade to work between the Lakers and Damian Lillard. That's the only way that this trade works, is if Luol Deng is involved in this trade. I understand it's not applying for the Trailblazers, who have a terrible cap situation, but right now Damian Lillard has 3 years left on his deal. Luol Deng only has 2. So you add 2 first, you give him 2 young players, and you take back Damian Lillard. I think this extends the Trailblazers' window a little bit and gives them 2 nice young players to move along. And no, Mahad Hussein, oh, sorry, I misread. He said Lonzo's an elite defender. I thought he said Damian Lillard's an elite defender. He's not. So let's look at the Lakers lineup with Damian Lillard. Pretty impressive. I mean, you obviously lose Brandon Ingram and you lose Lonzo Ball, but that's fine because now you have Damian Lillard, LeBron James, Kyle Kuzma. A lot of good shooting on that team, and they're already good enough defensively. You got Rondo, Stevenson, and JaVale McGee off the bench as well. So I think this would be a really interesting trade. But if you look at the Blazers lineup without Lillard, I mean, is that really all that bad of a lineup? Lonzo Ball, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Yusuf Nurkic, Al-Farouq Aminu with a good deep bench with some shooters, including Anthony Simmons. You have Caleb Swanigan with another year, Zach Collins on another year. I don't think this is a terrible trade. I actually don't. For the Trailblazers, this is a good move because they get rid of Lillard's contract. They get 2 first-round picks plus 2 young players to put next to CJ McCollum to actually spread out some of the scoring. They get a really good young point guard, Alonzo Ball, and a budding superstar in Brandon Ingram. I actually don't think that's a bad deal for the Blazers. I would say the team that might say no to it is the Lakers, if anything. Why would they trade away Lonzo and Brandon Ingram? Which is not something that I expected to hear myself say this morning. So let me know what you guys think about that trade. Who says no, the Lakers or the Blazers? I am totally open to adding assets on either side of the table there. I think that Damian Lillard's trade value is so completely up in the air and is on such a team-by-team basis. It's a little bit difficult to narrow down. But that is my initial trade for Damian Lillard. Let me know in the comment section who you would add or take away from that trade. All right, let's keep going. We had Colin Cowherd talking about Kyrie Irving earlier, and now we have Colin Cowherd talking about Lonzo Ball and LeBron James. Look, Colin Cowherd seems to think that with Lonzo in town, or with LeBron in town, Lonzo is now irrelevant, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, seeing as Lonzo Ball is actually a decent fit with LeBron James. So this is all coming from the leaked injury from the Ball camp to help Lonzo avoid a trade, which I talked about on Monday, I talked about it on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. I've talked about this multiple times, how obvious it was that the Ball camp leaked his injury in order to keep him from not getting traded. Now, Colin Cowherd plays this off as LeVar is desperate for Lonzo to stay in LA with the Lakers because he knows that they will trade Lonzo Ball since they have LeBron James. So I don't really understand this. I don't really understand why Lonzo would be irrelevant with LeBron. They're very similar. They do a lot of similar things. I mean, I think LeBron, in a couple of ways, sees a decent part of his game in Lonzo. I mean, they both have high basketball IQs. They're both really smart players. They're both great off the ball, good court vision, smart passer. Obviously, Lonzo Ball doesn't have the athleticism or physical attributes that LeBron James does. But sometimes it's all about what's up here, especially in basketball. It's very important to, know a player's basketball IQ. I think it's almost just as important as someone's physical attributes. But I don't think Lonzo's irrelevant. I think he's actually going to be a decent fit with LeBron James on the Los Angeles Lakers. It'll be a good combo, but we just really have to see how these two work out. I think they'll give them at least 1 year. We want to thank Autolist for sponsoring the Cam Rogers Show today. Are you looking for a used or new car? Tired of browsing a million sites? Head to Autolist.com to browse the largest source of inventory on the web, or download their top-rated mobile app for iPhone or Android. We have a super chat coming in. Want to remind you guys, use that super chat to have your questions answered live on the show. I will go through any super chat that comes in and answer them personally and give you a little bit of a shout out as well. All right, let's get to our next rumor here for the Los Angeles Lakers. Not a ton of pressure right now from LeBron James to sign another star. LeBron does have faith in the Lakers' talent and brand to get a signing done or a trade. So LeBron right now is not pressuring the Lakers to get a second star right away. And I think he kind of signified that by signing a 4-year deal. I think that obviously confirms his commitment to the team and the city. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers do get a second star in, but it's not coming from LeBron. And I credit LeBron so much with this. I think if you're LBJ, you gotta just be you gotta be kind of happy that you might not even make the finals this year. I mean, dude, this guy has been, playing until June every single season since 2010. Every single year he has played up until the middle of June. That is a lot of extra basketball to put on a 34-year-old's body. I think we are going to see LeBron James be much more relaxed this year, be a little bit more kind of inwards towards himself and not expend so much energy. I think he just needs a year to enjoy himself, enjoy his career, be in Los Angeles before making another run at a title next year. But it is also the Lakers, so I don't think they're going to stand by that. We have our first super chat of the show from Kai David 911. What should the Pistons do with their current core? Give them 1 year. Because I think with the new coach coming in, with Van Gundy going out, Blake Griffin with a full year next to Andre Drummond, I think that the Pistons are going to have a decent year this year. I just don't, what is their ceiling? Is the Pistons ceiling the 5 or 6 seed in the East right now? That's not what you're looking for when you're paying Drummond and Blake Griffin so much money. I think they give them 1 more year, and then I seriously think the Pistons start to consider, what do we do with Andre Drummond? Because he's been there for a while. They're paying him a lot of money. Is he really the guy for them to build their future around? I'm not too crazy about it, but there will be some stuff that we need to change. That's it for our Lakers rumors of the day. I am Harris Rubenstein. You can follow me on Twitter @SportsDean for all of your NBA news and updates. We're trying to get me to 1,500 Twitter followers, I'm currently at 1,424. We have a ton of people watching this show. We can get me to 1,500 by the end of it. We only need 76 people to follow me. 76 people, that is nothing, especially when you consider the fact that we have 700 people currently watching this show. So I think we can definitely get me up to at least 1,500. All right, let's get to our next segment here. We're going to be going over the NBA Final matchup odds. So basically, what are some matchups that we can see in the NBA Finals and how likely they are to happen? The first one, and this one's just giggle-worthy, it's the Detroit Pistons versus the Golden State Warriors. There you go, Detroit Pistons fans. There's your core. Is anyone else laughing? Am I the only one that thinks that even the fact that this is on the board is absolutely hilarious? The odds, plus 9,000. The Warriors would rip this poor team to pieces. They would turn the Pistons into roller skates. Warriors in 4, complete sweep, wouldn't even be a series. On to the next one, also plus 9,000, also equally as hilarious. It's the Miami Heat versus the Golden State Warriors. I don't even know how this is a possibility. Who would ever bet money on this? Warriors in a sweep. Moving on. Don't need to talk about the Warriors taking on the Heat in a possible NBA Finals. We do have a next one, though. This one's really interesting. It's the Celtics versus the Thunder. This one would be really, really fun. I think the Celtics would be rooting for this matchup of any team in the West. I mean, they certainly don't want to go up against the Warriors. I think the Rockets would be a tough matchup. The Lakers, LeBron versus the Celtics, I think that'd be a really fun matchup. But if you're the Celtics, you want the Thunder in the finals. The things that Brad Stevens would do to Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook are just not healthy for this world. Celtics taken in 5. I think that would be a really fun series to see Russell Westbrook versus the versus the Boston Celtics. All right, we got the Raptors versus the Rockets. Maybe the most boring NBA Finals of any matchup that we have on this list. This would be a complete snooze fest. It would be a total ratings bomb. And it would just be a team who they just match up very weirdly against each other. I mean, they're kind of mirror images, except the Rockets do what the Raptors want to do way better. Plus 6,500, not a lot of chances here for the Raptors and the Rockets. What about the Raptors and the Lakers, also plus 6,500? How funny would that be? The Raptors get tortured by LeBron James for years. They finally get him out of the East. They finally make it to the NBA Finals, and they meet up with who else but LeBron James. That would be that'd be so upsetting if you're a Toronto Raptors fan. And mind you, the Raptors would obviously get swept by LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. It doesn't matter how good the Raptors' season may be, they're going against LeBron, which means they turn into the baby dinosaurs, as Colin Cowherd loves to term them, and the great meteor of LeBron James would cause an extinction event for the poor Raptors. All right, let's get to our next matchup here. We've got the Warriors taking on the Wizards, plus 4,500. Now, as you see there in my first note, the world might end before the Washington Wizards ever make it to the NBA Finals, let alone win an NBA Finals. Now they go up against the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, that's a magic trick that the Wizards would not survive. I think the Wizards would get absolutely roasted and toasted by the Warriors. Total sweep, no shot. John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Otto Porter versus, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins, Andre Iguodala. Oh my God, the Wizards would get absolutely annihilated. I almost want to see that happen just so I can see Wizards fans cry. Actually, that's not true. Just so I can see Ernie Grunfeld maybe get fired. All right, let's get to our next matchup here. We got the Pacers versus the Warriors. This would actually be a pretty fun matchup. I would like to see the Pacers take on the Warriors. I think this would be a really fun one. I still think the Warriors would sweep them, and I don't think it would actually be a series, but it would be fun. I mean, we get to see Victor Oladipo against the Warriors. We get to see Miles Turner, see what he can do against DeMarcus Cousins. Dougie McBuckets would be in an NBA Finals. He just got picked up by the Pacers. Don't have a terrible issue with this one, but again, this would be a sweep again for the Warriors. The next one, more Eastern Conference matchups against the Warriors. We got the Bucks taking on the Warriors, plus 4,500. This would be great for the NBA. Mostly because you get Giannis in the finals. That's great for the international basketball community. This is great for the Eastern Conference to show that there's, the best player in the conference is able to make it to the finals with a okay team around him. But again, let's be honest, we all know how this NBA Finals would turn out. We know that maybe Giannis would have one crazy game like LeBron did, but we know that the Warriors would turn the Bucks into a couple of doughs. They would totally roast the Bucks. There'd be a hunt. All right, let's get to our next one here. Plus 2,000, the 76ers and the Rockets. All right, we're getting to a couple non-Warriors-based NBA Finals here that actually have a decent amount of likelihood to them. I know that plus 2,000 isn't exactly what you're looking for, but 76ers versus the Rockets would be a disaster for the NBA because the ratings on this matchup would be just abysmal. I mean, who would watch a Rockets 76ers Finals? I mean, I know I would, but you got to get the Celtics or the Lakers or the Warriors in the NBA Finals no matter what. I love the 76ers and what they're doing. I love what the Rockets are doing as well, but from a final standpoint, this would be a pretty bad one from a ratings perspective. I take the Rockets in 6 over the 76ers this year. I think the Sixers would take them to 6 because they don't really have a matchup for Embiid, and they don't have anyone who can defend Ben Simmons on that Rockets team with Ariza gone. All right, let's get to our next finals odd. We have the 76ers and the Lakers. Another fun rivalry that we would see rekindled. Obviously, the Celtics and Lakers will be on this list a little bit later, but LeBron versus Philly after everything that went down in free agency with LeBron maybe going to the 76ers and all this stuff, Ben Simmons, LeBron James, would be a lot of great headlines. Plus 2,000 on those odds. I'd love to see the Sixers and the Lakers in the finals together. I think that would go for some really high quality drama, which is what I am always looking for. I'm always looking for drama and chaos, people. If you're ever wondering what my priorities are when it comes to sports, it is 100% unequivocally chaos. Chaos. And 76ers and Lakers would be a perfect and beautiful amount of chaos. Going through our NBA Finals matchup odds, got the Raptors, Lakers, and the Raptors, Rockets there, plus 6,500. Raptors ain't going to the finals this year, people. It is not going to happen. I want to thank Autolist for joining us here on the Cam Rogers Show today. Driving a car is fun. Car shopping should be too. Go to Autolist.com or download their top-rated app for iPhone or Android. We are going through the NBA title matchup odds right now, going through the likelihood of some matchups that we'll see to take on for the Larry O'Brien Trophy next season. We got the Raptors and the Warriors. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, do I want the Raptors and the Warriors in the NBA Finals, because this would maybe make the Raptors finally blow it up, say hello to the next great extinction event on planet Earth. The Golden State Warriors would do some nasty, unhealthy things to the Toronto Raptors as a franchise. I think the Raptors would honestly have to blow it up just out of sheer shame of getting roasted so hard by the Warriors in the NBA Finals on national television. If I'm a Raptors fan, I am hoping and praying that I don't make the NBA Finals this season. I know that's a weird thing to say, but no. I hope that I have another really good regular season, and I hope I make it to the NBA. I hope I make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose in 7 on a game-winning shot so I have an excuse for next year. I want nothing to do with the NBA Finals while the Warriors are involved in it. All right, let's get to the next one here. Plus 900 for the Celtics taking on the Rockets. This would be an awesome matchup. The Celtics and the Rockets played some awesome games last season, not to mention the Celtics match up really well versus Houston. I'll take the Celtics in 5 on this one at plus 900. I think you'd see a really interesting dynamic between the Celtics and the Rockets. I think it'd get kind of chippy. I'd love to see Kyrie Irving versus Chris Paul. You also have a matchup of 2 of the best coaches in all of basketball between Brad Stevens and Mike D'Antoni. It would be a lot of fun. I think that we would get a really good finals. The ratings would be good, and it would also be kind of the next step for the NBA, getting another team from the West and the East in the NBA Finals. Brand new matchup of the Celtics and the Rockets. I think it'd be really good to see. All right, we got another one here. The Celtics versus the Lakers, also plus 900. The next generation of Celtics taking on the Lakers. Kyrie versus LeBron is the new generation of the Celtics and the Lakers. Would end up being, excuse me, one of the most watched NBA Finals ever. Because Untitled, do I get a bless you from anyone in the office? Can I get a scream out on a bless you? Jesus, come on. with the Celtics taking on the Lakers plus 900. Give me the Celtics in 6, at least for the first time that these teams match up in the finals. Look, I think eventually the Celtics and Lakers are going to match up. LeBron versus Kyrie, Celtics versus Lakers has to happen eventually. You know, I'm sorry, I'm allergic to BS, and we have a lot of it here in the CS office. But I don't know from you guys, who's going to win the NBA title this year? Is it going to be the Warriors, or is it going to be anyone else? Give me a 1 or a 2 and give me some options. Hey, there we go. We're getting some bless yous in the comments. Thank you, guys. Glad to know that there is still some common courtesy everywhere else except for the Chat Sports office, apparently. Thanks, guys. No, but really, let me know in the comment section who you guys think is going to win the NBA titles. Get in some super chats as well. I want to hear from you guys. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Get some super chats in, and I will answer your questions live on air. All right, let's get to our next title odds here. We got the 76ers taking on the Warriors. This would be an awesome matchup. Awesome. Draymond Green versus Joel Embiid. That is must-see TV. That'd be so much fun. I'd love to see Ben Simmons on the big stage as well versus Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Maybe the 76ers have made a trade deadline move to get Kawhi Leonard for the last half of the season to make a run at the title. This would be an awesome matchup. However, you know, the Warriors would still win in 5, right? Like, I think we all need to know that the Warriors are going to win the finals this year, and they're probably going to roll over whoever they end up playing. So Embiid versus Draymond would be awesome, but still, give me the Warriors in 5 over the 76ers. I think this would be a great series, but I don't think the Sixers actually have a chance of winning. And then finally, our number 1 NBA Finals matchup odds. We have the Celtics versus the Warriors. Plus 155, Warriors going for their 3rd straight title. And I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Celtics might be the only team who can actually beat the Warriors. And I want to bring up their lineup here because I want to really express what the Warriors could do against the Celtics team and what the Celtics could match up as well against the Warriors. First things first, the Warriors lineup. Obviously, it's ridiculous. Obviously, it's insane. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins. Maybe the best starting lineup in all of basketball. 5 All-Stars. But I do wonder how much DeMarcus Cousins really does add to this lineup from a basketball sense. We already see the Warriors go into ISO enough with Kevin Durant. What are they going to do with DeMarcus Cousins, who doesn't really pass, turns the ball over a lot, and is really only a bully around the rim? He can shoot a little bit away from the rim. He can do a little bit of work outside the perimeter, but come on, DeMarcus Cousins isn't a shooter. I mean, he's still a center. I know he can shoot, but there's a difference between being able to shoot and being a shooter. There's a big difference. Now, you see that Warriors lineup. Now let's look at the Celtics lineup. There's a lot of good matchups there for the Celtics. I think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can do good work against some of the Warriors stars. I think Kyrie Irving knows how to defend Steph Curry and has already outplayed Steph Curry in an NBA Finals, mind you, so we know that he could do it. Al Horford would do a great job down low defensively. The Celtics are incredibly deep with the best coach in the NBA, or at least the second best coach in the NBA at least. So look, I think the Celtics are the only team in all of basketball that could actually stand up to the Warriors and have a chance to beat them. And I'm serious. I don't think the Celtics will beat the Warriors, but if there's any teams in the NBA who could actually beat the Warriors, it's probably the Boston Celtics. So we have the Celtics at plus 155 for the NBA Finals next season. We got a question here from Jared Rose saying, how do odds work? That is a very good question, and there are a lot of odds calculators out there who can kind of determine. So let's go, for instance, what we saw with like a 6,500 to 1. That is 65 to 1 odds, which means that for every $1 that you bet, you can make 65. So if you put in $10, you can make $650. If you put in $100, you're going to make $6,500. So it kind of works like that. 9 to 1 odds, 10 to 1 odds. The more money you put in, obviously, the more you can make. But if you put in $1, you'll get $10. That's how 10 to 1 odds work. I hope that is a good enough explanation for you. I'm Harris Rubenstein. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsScene for all your sports needs. Just went over the NBA title odds. So there's only one thing left to do, as we love to do here on the Cam Rogers Show. It's talk about LeBron James. So let's get into some fresh LeBron rumors. We got a lot to go over. There's been a lot circling the king so far. So let's talk about LeBron impacting the Lakers' decisions so far. Not a second star, but in general, the depth signings that the Lakers have made so far. So Magic Johnson wants to change the second half of LeBron James' career. Magic decided to bring in, quote, tough-minded playmakers rather than just getting people who work well around LeBron James. Basically, he wants people who play well with LeBron, not play well for LeBron. And that's why they brought in someone like a Lance Stevenson or a Rajon Rondo. These really tough-nosed defenders, these playmakers, guys who can do things on and off the ball. Maybe not the best all-around shooters, but guys who can do multiple different things and do them well. Rondo is a great distributor and a great defender. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is turning into a really nice 3-and-D guy. JaVale McGee has turned into a quality rim protector and alley-oop guy like he did with the Warriors. Lance Stevenson, we know how much fun he is on the court. He has a certain amount of playmaking and explosiveness that the Lakers don't currently have to surround LeBron James with. This is no longer just give LeBron James as many shooters as humanly possible. This is how can we construct a team to work best with LeBron, not for LeBron. And again, if you're the Lakers and you're going to try to beat the Warriors, you know you can't beat them with conventional basketball, so you got to beat them with effort, heart, fundamentals, and versatility. And maybe, just maybe, this Lakers lineup could put up a fight against the Golden State Warriors. Let's get into our next rumor here. We talked about this earlier, but in case you missed it, LeBron and Luke Walton have had no contact. Zero. They haven't talked. They haven't met. They've never met before. They've never even seen each other before. But LeBron has praised Luke Walton during an interview last season, saying that he's doing some good things with that young lineup. It's just a little bit funky, isn't it? With all the history that LeBron James has with coaches, especially the likes of, the David Blatts and the Tyronn Lues and the Mike Browns of the world. We know that LeBron James is very, very specific about his coaches. And I got to say, people, I don't think LeBron is going to force Luke Walton out. I don't think LeBron is really in that business anymore. But if Luke Walton underachieves with LeBron James, bye-bye. They're going to get rid of Luke Walton as fast as he can say his name. If Luke Walton doesn't succeed in his first season with LeBron James, he is gone. It is put up or shut up time for Luke Walton. And to be totally honest, this might just be a personal thing. I'm not the biggest fan of Luke Walton. I don't really know what he brings to the table that is over the top. I think his offensive system is just okay. The Lakers are just an okay defensive team, like okay to below average level defensive team over the past couple of years. I know that he had that crazy winning streak with the Warriors, but come on, guys. I could have coached the Warriors to 73 wins. That's how good that roster was. That roster was absolutely insane, and they would have won 73 games no matter what. I know that we want to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff always, but that Warriors team, especially in the regular season, was an absolute legend. And I just don't really see what Luke Walton brings. I think he's going to end up getting out of there, and I think they're going to bring in another guy to coach LeBron James. Want to thank Autolist for sponsoring the Cam Rogers Show today. Driving a car is fun. Car shopping should be too. Head to Autolist.com or download their top-rated apps for iPhone or Android. Let's keep going on here with the latest around LeBron James. Let's talk about him and LeVar Ball. Are they not a good fit? Well, I'm pretty sure a monkey could have told you that LeBron James and LeVar Ball are not a good fit together. So as we know, LeVar Ball is known for creating all these these dramatic storylines. Oh, Alonzo Ball this. Oh, here comes LeBron. Blah, blah, blah. Look, people, LeVar Ball is now out of the picture. Colin Cowherd made a really good point yesterday. Remember how big of a deal Tim Tebow was? Huge deal. The biggest name in sports for like a couple months there. And then all of a sudden, Peyton Manning showed up in Denver, and no one cared about Tim Tebow anymore. That's what's going to happen with LeVar Ball. LeBron James is here. LeVar Ball is done. It doesn't matter what LeVar Ball says anymore. It does not matter anymore. He officially has zero influence on the Los Angeles Lakers. Zero. He no longer matters, because if he says something and LeBron wants the opposite, the Lakers are going to go with the guy they just gave a 4-year, $154 million contract to, who's also maybe the greatest player in the history of basketball. LeVar Ball, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for the rest of us, has now been deemed irrelevant. It doesn't matter what LeVar says anymore. LeBron James is here, and what LeBron James says goes. If LeBron James goes to Magic and says, you know what, LeVar is too much of a distraction, I want Lonzo Ball traded, bye-bye. Lonzo's gone. Like, it doesn't matter. LeVar Ball officially has no more influence on this team. And I think that's honestly one of the top 5 reasons that the Lakers ended up signing LeBron James, was because he just makes the whole Ball family completely irrelevant. It's why LiAngelo isn't getting a G League invite or a Summer League invite. It's why LaMelo is never going to play for the Lakers. And it's why Lonzo's time is ticking, because if LeBron wants him gone, he is gone. So LeVar Ball and the Lakers, seems that the relationship is about to start dwindling into nothing. All right, let's get to our next rumor here with LeBron and the Lakers. Has LeBron revived the LA Lakers, quote-unquote, exceptionalism? Well, I think you can make an argument that he has revived and restored faith in this dormant team. The team hasn't made the playoffs in 5 years or won a title in 8. It's pretty humbling for the Buss family overall to have an all-star game played in LA without any Lakers. I mean, look, this Buss family, they've owned the Lakers for as long as we can remember, and they've really broadened it to new heights. And it's just stunning that the team has been so bad for the past 5 years. We know that LeBron obviously elevates everyone around him, but we got to see what the Lakers do with LeBron. I think Magic Johnson's legacy as an executive in basketball really is going to do, like, it ends up, what does he do with LeBron? Like, who do you surround him with? Who do you bring in? How do you make a run at a title with such a dominant dynasty right now in the Golden State Warriors? What do you do if you're the Lakers? I ask you this question, people. Is Kawhi enough? Is Kawhi Leonard enough, combo with LeBron James and Lonzo Ball, to beat the Warriors? Not even this year, next year, or even the year after that. I argue no. I think at this point, the only way that the Lakers are going to be able to beat the Warriors is if the Warriors lose a couple of their players and the Lakers somehow miraculously end up with Klay Thompson. This dynasty for the Warriors is not just some team where you can assemble random pieces and all of a sudden, boom, you can beat the Warriors. That's not how this team is going to go down. This team is going to get taken down by a team like the Celtics, who have been drafting incredibly well and making really good moves over the course of the past 5 years, not just waiting for assets and then blowing it all up to get, LeBron James, the second star, and having no one else around those two guys. What makes the Warriors so lethal is the fact that they can combo all these guys with a great bench and a great coaching staff. We've already seen that LeBron James and a team of misfit toys is not good enough to beat the Golden State Warriors, so why would it all of a sudden be good enough for the Los Angeles Lakers? This is my biggest issue. When people started complaining about the Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee, and Rajon Rondo signings, I didn't understand why we were complaining. We already know that the conventional way to win with LeBron James does not work against this Golden State Warriors dynasty. So why would the Lakers do it again? It makes no sense. It's completely repetitive. It doesn't make sense. It is the definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. It doesn't make sense. If the Lakers want to beat the Warriors, they need to come at this from a different angle. And I think these signings really do show a different angle. They're going at it with heart and effort and defense and versatility, not who is going to be able to throw the best pass to LeBron James or shoot the best three off of a LeBron James pass. You got to try something new, and you have to see what ways you can do to beat the Warriors. Maybe all these one-year deals are an experiment. Maybe if it works, they'll bring a lot of these guys back, and they'll know how to match up against the Warriors. But as of right now, nothing else has worked, so you got to credit the Lakers for at least trying something new. All right, let's get to our next rumor here around LeBron James. A little bit of a more relaxed rumor for LeBron. LeBron is currently in Italy, everybody. LeBron is spending time with his family on a huge $700,000 a week yacht in Italy. Can Chat Sports fund a $700,000 a week yacht trip for me in Italy? It'd be awesome. I would love to just spend time in Italy relaxing, doing nothing. Because, I have also made it to the NBA Finals over the past 4 seasons. And I have also played an extraordinary amount of basketball over the past 8 years. I think I deserve a yacht trip to Italy. But let me know in the comment section if you guys think I deserve a yacht trip to Italy. Use that super chat to tell me how long my vacation should be in Italy. I'm taking this yacht trip, baby. I'm taking it. I'll put it on Twitter. It'll be great. Maybe my yacht will be more of like a gondola or more of like a little motorboat, but it'll be a boat trip around Italy nonetheless. Let me know. Use that super chat if you guys think I should take my little vacation here. Apparently, also, LeBron could meet up with Magic Johnson and his family in Italy as well, doing a little mano-a-mano vacation. Also need to point out one thing. Congratulations to LeBron James for officially becoming only the 3rd athlete in the history of basketball to become a billionaire. We have 3 billionaires now, people, to come out of the NBA. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and LeBron James. LeBron James has officially made his billionth dollar. That doesn't mean that he currently has $1 billion, because when you spend millions of dollars on 2 houses in Los Angeles, you don't have $1 billion anymore. So we'll see what happens with LeBron. He is a billionaire, not billionaire, who knows? But congrats to LeBron for being a very successful businessman. Probably why he wants to spend so much time with Magic Johnson. I think the two will match up well. We have D-Lob in the comments saying, take the trip until the 2019-2020 season starts because the Lakers can't win this season anyway. Hey, maybe LeBron will just stay in Italy for an entire year. Let me know what you guys think. What's more likely for the Lakers in this season? Do you think they'll win a title or will they lose in the first round? I'm going with number 2 on that one, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great weekend. You have been watching The Cam Rogers Show here on Chat Sports, both on Facebook and on YouTube. We will be back on Monday morning with all the latest surrounding the NBA and everything with LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsDean. But for now, we'll see ya.